Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome, City of McAllen. My name is Roy Rodriguez. I'm the city manager here in the City of McAllen, and we're here to make another announcement. First, let me address our citizens here in McAllen. Let me say that we're working very hard for our citizens. We're doing everything that we can to ensure the safety of the public and to navigate through this unknown territory. The disruption to all of our daily lives is chaotic and frightening to some extent. But daily, City of McAllen employees, whom are the most professional and experienced, remain focused on delivering the best possible service that we can to our citizens. Our city services will continue with some adjustments, as we always and also practice social distancing for the safety of our employees and our community. Our bridges are open, our parks are open, our water provided by the McAllen Public Utility is the best in the business, and we urge our citizens to use it. Stop the buying of bottled water so that the trucks that are back and forth trying to bring that water to the region can bring other very necessary goods. As we follow CDC and federal and state guidelines, we ask that you do the same for our safety, for your safety, and the safety of the entire community. This is the way to slow down and eventually stop this virus. Today's new order by the McAllen Mayor, Jim Darling, emphasizes that we have to adjust our lives. This means the prohibition of dining in restaurants and having a drink at a bar. There are other issues that we'll talk about here in a moment. We will prohibit also gathering in worship halls. For the faithful, prayer can be done anywhere, and we encourage plenty of that. Our commitment to our residents remains at an all-time high. We ask that you remember all of the CDC guidelines on proper hygiene and that you help us fight and combat this enemy. I have Assistant City Manager Michelle Rivera, General Manager of the McAllen Public Utility, Mark Vega, and our City Attorney, Kevin Pagan, who is also our Emergency Manager. And I will hand it over to him so that he can highlight the order and answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. As Mr. Rodriguez said, my name is Kevin Pagan. I serve as the Emergency Management Coordinator as well as the City Attorney. I have been in constant communication with the Mayor. In fact, I just hung up the phone with him before coming to the press conference. He sends his best to the citizens of McAllen, wants you to know he's doing fine, absolutely perfect at his home. He feels a little cooped up there, but he is following the guidelines that have been established for him, and he's doing very, very well and sends his best. As the city manager said, the mayor a little while ago issued a new emergency order. It's order number 2020-02, lots of twos and zeros, but that order will be available to you in electronic or hard copy if you want it. I just want to highlight a couple of things off of the order. First of all, it supersedes the order that the mayor issued a couple of days ago, I believe on the 17th. This order supersedes that. This order is done to supplement the governor's order that was issued earlier today. And so to the extent that either the governor's order or this order is more restrictive, then the more restrictive of the two orders will take precedent. As you can imagine, in these times, we are all moving very, very rapidly, and it's not always possible for us to coordinate as absolutely closely as we would like. But we're all moving in the same direction, and that is to safeguard the public health of our citizens. So there may be dots and commas on these orders that we normally wouldn't tolerate, but they are there. So in that respect, we did our best to track what the governor's order did, but to the extent that there are differences, then I want to be very clear, as it says in this order, that it's the intent of this order that either the governor's order or this order, whichever is more restrictive, would take precedent within the city of McAllen. Having said that, there are a couple of things that I want to emphasize that Mr. Rodriguez mentioned. We are limiting restaurants to curbside, to-go, drive-through service only. There will be no more in dining room facilities open at our restaurants. And I want to come back to that in just a moment. All of the conditional use permits for bars in the city of McAllen are hereby suspended by order of the mayor. So any facility that operates as a bar in the city of McAllen under a conditional use permit, that authorization has been suspended indefinitely by the mayor effective at 5 o'clock today. This order will apply to movie theater, and we are limiting social gatherings or gatherings of any sort of non-essential business type to a total number of 10, consistent with the governor's order. This does apply to movie theaters and churches and all venues where people gather for social events. Conversely, the parks that are open spaces will remain open. However, the restrooms at those park facilities will be closed effective this afternoon. We're asking gas stations and convenience stores, places where there is self-service for gasoline, to continue to operate, but to sanitize those gas pumps that are common touching areas at least every hour. And let me say, I want to give a shout out to one of our retailers. I was on the phone just before the press conference with the regional operations director of one of the largest convenience store operators in McAllen and in the Valley, and they said they absolutely will assist us with that. So they will be taking steps to be sure the self-service gas pumps are sanitized. We are also restricting or prohibiting the use of the self-service beverage dispensers such as that you might find at a convenience store or in a restaurant. Of course, those dining rooms will be closed. Couple of things that I would like to add on the mayor's behalf about the restaurants and food service, and that is that as the citizens of McAllen know, the kitchens in our restaurants in McAllen are actually some of the cleanest and most heavily inspected locations in the city. And so we're very confident, not only in the normal course of business, but with heightened hygiene protocols that the restaurants have established, that they can safely serve food to our residents, and we encourage you to continue to use them for that purpose. There are a couple of things outside the order that I would like to touch on, and then have the city manager expound if he would like. The McAllen Public Library System will be closed to the public effective at 5 o'clock this afternoon and continuing until further notice. I've already mentioned that the bathroom facilities at the parks will be closed effective this afternoon at 5 o'clock. The parks themselves, open spaces, will remain open. Finally, I want to mention on a hopefully somewhat more positive note, the city of McAllen is very rapidly deploying a significant rollout of Wi-Fi hotspots throughout our city so that we can enhance communication for those that are out and about. And maybe your Wi-Fi hotspot was a restaurant or some other place that had that you have limited access to now, but particularly for all of the students in the McAllen School District, Sherry School District, the others that are having to stay home but are being asked to study from home. We are rolling out Wi-Fi hotspots very, very rapidly throughout the city so that they can have access to the internet. And I want to give kudos to our IT department in the city for doing that. That's all I have. Roy, did you want to add anything?
Couple more things.
Okay.
Yeah, to follow up on the IT deployment of the hotspots, we want to also express our gratitude to the McAllen Independent School District, because it was through a donation of MISD that we're able to do that. Another thing that I want to mention is changes that we're going to make to the Development Center and Development Services. Michelle Rivera is the Assistant City Manager over all of those services, and in order to comply with this order, we are going to limit our interaction with developers and contractors. We're going to ask, starting after tomorrow at 5 p.m., which will mean Monday, that they interact with our staff through telephone. We're going to come up with a solution where they can drop off plans and what have you in order for us to review, but we will no longer allow developers or contractors into our building until further notice, until this order is removed. We want to continue to do the best that we can to provide all of the services that are necessary. We realize that life goes on, and in fact, construction is good. We want that to happen out in our community. Another department that's going to be impacted is our passports and vital statistics. You know, babies are born every day, and life ends for all of us. Those are very, very important documents that people will be seeking. We're going to continue to provide that service through appointments only. So you will be able to go to our facilities. There's going to be a sign there for you to call, or you can call our 311 to get that information, and we will make appointments in order to provide you that service. I believe that that's all we have right now. We'll be glad to answer any questions. Yes. The community centers are part of our library, and so we won't be able to have the mass gatherings that we're prohibiting, so those will be closed.
Would you be able to say this in Spanish or Spanish media?
Sure, I'll do that individually.
Just a little rest.
Sure. Any other question? Okay, thank you very much.
Our team. Stories that count from people who care.